like Pierre Engvall, baby. I know we discussed Pierre Engvall a lot because he was waived at the start of the year, but Pierre Engvall has made his return. And more specifically, Mitch, especially, I'm going to focus on this road trip because he's got 2 goals in the last 2 games. But he's actually been pretty good, and I think we could talk about the domino effect of him being good and how that impacts the rest of the team. We also have to start with if we think this is going to continue at this pace, but we have to talk through all things Pierre Engvall and how that impacts the rest of the team.
Yeah, I think it starts, like you said, is this sustainable? And obviously not. He's not going to score every game for the rest of his life. It's just, you don't sign a guy to a $3 million contract. Don't remember the years. Just forget the number of years. With $3 million price tag because he's going to score every game. That's just not how it happens. But for me, the sustainability of this is the number of looks he's getting. When you look at the first few games on the season, October 26th, 29th, 1 shot on net between both games. And then from there, it's steadily going up. 4, 2, 3, 4, 0 against the Edmonton Oilers, but then 6 the other night against the Vancouver Canucks, 1 against Seattle. But you're looking at the number of looks that he's getting, and the ice time isn't going up crazy at all. It's somewhere between 12 to 15 minutes a night. That's it, man. So when he's getting these shots, is just his regular shifts. He's actually converting and getting opportunities on the net. How dangerous those opportunities are, we can squabble about later. But the fact that he's getting the number of opportunities is huge. That's a big jump for him.
It is. And I'm glad you referenced that first game against the Rangers. Well, really not first, but it was his 4th game back.
Yeah.
But to me, that signifies the era that I wanted to start looking at too, or the section of games. It's 7 out of 10 games that he's played, but over the last 7 games, 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists. Average amount of ice time is 14 minutes and 11 seconds. And this kind of coincides with when the Islanders started to get a little bit more banged up, and they needed guys to come in and to play well. And we've talked about and praised guys like Anders Lee and JG Pageau moving up in the lineup and succeeding. But in order for this team to stay afloat, which for the most part they have, sitting at a flat 500 through 18 games and 1 million overtime losses, go figure.
Of course.
Pierre Engvall, I think, has done a nice job in his return, and he stood out recently and on the goal sheet. But even before that, I thought there was a noticeable jump in his game. And theoretically, too, he does have something that not a ton of guys in this lineup can do, which is with his speed, he can transition the puck from the defensive zone to the offensive zone, which I think they were kind of lacking that presence in the bottom 6 before he got here.
Yeah, and that was the big issue with him. It wasn't just that he wasn't using his skating, is that he wasn't using what the skating brings you. Like, he was skating, but to no avail. Like, great, you skate fast, cool, but if you're not using it to do something other than just skating fast in and of itself, it adds nothing to our game. You need to be able to get onto the forecheck and hound people for pucks. You don't have to be the most physical guy. He's just not, right? He's got 2 hits in his last 5 games. There's not a lot of hitting going on for a guy who's like 6'5", is he not? Yeah, 6'5", 215. But you don't need him to hit necessarily. You just need him to win puck battles, get into puck battles, even, for the love of God. That was the big problem with him, is that you would get to these areas and then just wouldn't do anything. Pierre, you're there. Contest the puck, my dude. And that's what he's doing now. And his line as well, to a certain degree, which is lending itself to that sustainability in terms of his play. Not necessarily the scoring. I'm not going to say he's going to be another 40-goal player here. It's that what we're seeing is that his impacts on the game are helping the Islanders in terms of getting pucks towards net and forechecking the puck or forechecking the play and causing these pucks to either come loose or take them away. And then he adds that with the rest of his line, they are doing the same thing, and that is working in some sort of third line synergy, if you will, And that's why we're finding success on that third line, because these guys are finally working together, which is the problem with the fourth line. But that was
different. Yeah, different pod. We've done that already. Yeah.
But right, like that's the thing. That's why I'm not maybe not confident, but I feel relatively confident that his play can sustain himself, and he could keep himself on this lineup for the rest of the season.
Yeah, not so much that he's going to score a goal a game, but
yeah.
Can he play at, what's a fair mark, 35 to 40 point expectation, sure. Maybe something like that. I think it's possible. Now, I wanted to bring up this quote from Patrick Roy that Stefan Rosner got. This is dating back to that first game that we highlighted, the game against the Rangers. Right. Patrick Roy was asked about Pierre Engvall in that one, and he gave a quote about him being a good skater. That's not the one that I'm really keying in on. The next line of this quote, he follows it up by saying, "But I will say this, he needs to bring pucks to the net. That's his ticket, and when he does that, I like him as a player." And to me, that's what he's done the last few games, and I think that what's made him successful is, I mean, look at the goal that he scored from Simon Holmstrom, that he was right in front of the net and good things happen. And like, it's just, I don't know, sometimes you listen to the coach and like good things happen, man.
Yeah, and that you play the right way and the game will find it, because we have to remember, this is a game of it is a game of luck, right? You just have to create enough lucky events where your luck pays off. And like the goal against the Vancouver Canucks, right? Pure luck. Lankinen should have stopped that one, really. But he came off the wing. He had enough speed where it maybe kind of jumbled the brain waves going on Lankinen's head, where he couldn't get himself square to the shot, and he got it through. Conflating that? Is it the Vancouver game that I'm thinking of?
Yeah, he scored.
Or is that the Seattle one?
Sorry, the Vancouver was the one where he was there and got the rebound from Holmstrom.
Okay, so then the one against Seattle was the one where he comes off the wing, fires it through Joey Decourt. Okay, got the wrong goalie. But the play was the same. And he needs to keep doing that, because that's his strength. That's his strength. In terms of just creating direct offense, creating that indirect offense is when he gets on these forechecks. And we've seen that with this specific third line, referencing they are here this time, the Vancouver goal. That line was out there causing all kinds of havoc in the Vancouver end, and it eventually ended up in the back of the net because he did what he was supposed to do on and off the puck, and it found him. It freaking works, man. It sounds cliche, but it's cliche for a reason.
And speaking of cliches, Anders Lee had comments as well that I wanted to share, but that is also a lot. It is cliche, but it kind of speaks to exactly what you were just saying about like going to the right place and like good things kind of happen. Here we go. And he's getting to the middle of the ice. His rebound goals are because he's getting dirty, and he has a few of those, and he's getting rewarded for it. It's paying off.
If you like that, make sure to subscribe to Up the Turnpike on Patreon for more exclusive New York Islanders content.